I can also be extremely grateful for being healthy and be extremely proud of putting together a full cross season and being able to run the way I did at the championship meet, because I'm harping on it, but last year with the heat stroke, I was 100th, and this year I was second. And just being able to run at that meet is such a privilege and a blessing, and I was very grateful to do that and very proud of the progression I had made, and also just to be at the front of the race the whole time and to put myself in that mix and establish that and give myself a shot in the first place, right?
That was Rocky Hansen back today on the Running Effect podcast, just a few short days after he placed second at the 2025 NCAA Cross Country Championships in Missouri that happened last Saturday. Rocky is an absolute stud. He's been one of the top in the country at every level. In high school, he was a sub-4 miler. We're the same class as each other, so it was a lot of fun to watch his high school career go down. And then at Wake Forest currently, he is constantly at the top of the ACC and constantly competing for NCAA titles and running record-breaking times, including a school record of 13:07 this past July, where he placed second in a professional field at the Sound Running Sunset Tour. Rocky, his trajectory is on the up and up, consistently, continually. And the crazy thing is, his entire collegiate career, he's had success. And so today we sit down, we break down perhaps his most impressive accomplishment thus far in his career, and we talk about how it's influencing his expectations and standards moving forward. We also get his take on internationals in the NCAA, the shifting landscape of the NCAA. I thought he gave a lot of thoughtful words and responses to those subjects as someone who's in the thick of it, in the mix of it. And then we also talk about him competing for a spot on the World Cross Country team for the U.S. coming up here in 10 days. I hope you enjoy this one. If you do, give us a 5-star review. It takes next to no time. Hit the follow button so you don't miss more conversations like this in the future. And guys, the easiest way that you can support us, support our mission, and support our having greater impact in the sport is share this podcast with a friend. I would greatly be indebted to you if you did that. I hope your Thanksgiving was amazing. I hope your running is going well. And without further ado, enjoy this inspiring conversation with the man, the myth, the legend, second place finisher at NCAA Cross, Mr. Rocky Hansen. Ladies and gentlemen, the legend is back, and we are turning this one around. 1 second, Rocky's placing second in the country. The next, he's on the Running Effect podcast breaking it down, because Rocky and Dom are men of the people. We give them what they want. Rocky, I knew you as a junior or senior in high school. You were one of the top guys in the country, but kind of overshadowed by I say this with love because I love Connor and Simeon, the loudmouths of the villains, Connor and Simeon. You broke 4. I feel like you were kind of under the radar. You get into college, you keep progressing every year, every season. It goes a little bit better. And then it seems like this past season was kind of the real coming out party. And you play second with potentially at times parts where it looked like you might run away with it. Man, congrats for starters. And how does it feel?
Thank you very much, Dom. I appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, it feels great. I mean, to see all my work pay off and to see I'm just very grateful for health and to be able to run at the level I am and to see everything come together. I mean, the past 2 years, there's been ups and downs, and it's certainly been frustrating, and it's been a lot of fun to just see it all come together and to share that with my teammates and my coaches and all the people who are a part of my support system and have made it possible, you know?
Is it crazy how linear your career has been? I think most athletes have ups and downs, and I'm just shocked that every season it seems like you can almost bet on you to be at the top of the NCAA.
Oh, well, thanks. I appreciate that. I mean, I think that from my perspective, like maybe from the outside looking in, it might seem linear, like I keep getting better, but there's certainly been moments where it's been, not linear at all, where it's like I deal with an injury or something and I'm kind of down for a while, or I have iron deficiency or a heat stroke or something like that. So from the outside looking in, I still perform at a high level once the time comes, but certainly the journey there is not linear for sure. And I guess it's kind of part of the sport and part of life and nature, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, I've learned so much from those things, and it's all culminated in what happened last Saturday. So
I'm not here to throw out any names. I love your class. It was my high school class, so I'm naturally biased towards that class. I always get a good laugh every year, Rocky, when the incoming class at Festival Miles thinks they're gonna up your class, and they talk big game, and then they go out in 303 through 1200. I'm like, what are we doing here? What was all this for? So I love
Right.
the class of 23, but none of those guys I feel like have had the consistency that you've had at the top level, and I think going into college, I think a lot of us fans expected the performances you had last Saturday from that class, and it seems like you're that one guy who has really been consistent at the top. And it's been cool to see a bunch of the others start to catch up. Like Simeon had a remarkable track season this past season. I'm sure I'm missing others. But what's it like to kind of get your spot? Like, I know you're a super humble guy, so I don't really think you crave it as much. But, you were breaking 4 and maybe getting less accolades than anyone who ever broke 4 got. And now you go to college and you maybe finally get your due. What does that feel like?
Well, thank you. I do appreciate that. And I mean, like you said, I'm not really a loud guy. And I mean, it feels good to receive the attention. But at the end of the day, I've just kind of been doing my thing, just kind of working, trying to get better every day. And the end of the day, the NCAA is really hard. It's very deep and very talented. So I mean, there were all these expectations for our class coming in because we had how many sub 4 high school milers did we have? 5 in our class?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like
4 or
that.
5.
So, yeah, and we had a lot of expectation coming in because, I mean, that's like the most ever in a class, and it was very hyped up. But then you come into the NCAA and reality hits and realize, oh yeah, the NCAA is really hard. It's very deep, very talented. So it's definitely not been easy, but it feels good to, like I said at the beginning, it feels good to see all my work pay off and especially in a cross country race. I've been wanting specifically to have a good championship cross country race because that has eluded me the past 2 years with injuries and heat stroke and stuff like that. So I'm just very grateful for all of it. And obviously the attention is nice, but it's not why I do it. Why I do it is because I'm trying to become the best version of myself and to help others do the same.
Very well said. Do you think you're more of a track guy or a cross guy? And if you think track guy, does that change after this past weekend?
Well, yeah, I mean, whenever people ask me this question, it's similar to the question of like, what do you prefer, right? Like, what do you like, cross country or track? And my answer I've always told people is I try not to pick favorites when I'm in season because if I say I'm a track guy, then during cross country, there's almost that little mental barrier, like I'm gonna sandbag a little bit. Or if I say I'm a cross guy in track, then same thing. So I try to be in the moment during the season, and when I'm in cross country, I'm a cross guy, and when I'm in track, I'm a track guy. But I mean, if you'd asked me, like, I don't know, maybe in high school, I probably would have said like, oh yeah, track is my strong suit. But now that I've been in the NCAA and I've really seen what I can do, and I've developed under the training system at Wake Forest, I've really come into form and really developed a love for cross country, and I've found success in both realms. And really, I've mentioned this in other interviews and mentioned it to other people. Going into the year, the whole focus was cross country because on the track I'd run pretty well indoors and I ran pretty well outdoors, and really we just wanted to put it together in a championship cross country season because, like I said, I wasn't able to do that the past 2 years at NCAA's. So that was the main goal going into the year, and that was what was accomplished. So I'm very, very happy with it.
Were you surprised by placing second? Like, if I was to talk to you 5 months ago, where do you think your head would have been at in terms of goals? And do you feel like you surprised yourself throughout the season?
No, I mean, coming off track season, I was uber confident. I knew that getting top 3 or trying to win the thing was definitely in the cards. It was just a matter of staying healthy and getting consistent training under my belt throughout that whole period of time. And as cross season went on, at first I wasn't really sure how fit I was because I hadn't raced anything until mid-October, and then I had my first race and I surprised myself. I didn't think I would open as quick as I did at Panorama Farms. And then I realized, okay, like this, we're getting serious. We really have a chance to go after a title. And then ACCs happened, that went well, and then regionals went well, and I was just gaining a lot of confidence, and I figured that if I can really be up with the big dogs up front, because I mean, I was also with them up front in track at the indoor championships in the 5K and the outdoor championships in the 5K. So I knew it was certainly a possibility, but I think that every race, there was some sort of an element of surprise to it. Like I didn't expect to come in as strong as I did, and I'm very happy and grateful that it did end up that way. And unfortunately, we couldn't get it done, couldn't get the title done, but I can still be very proud of the progression and the performance and putting myself in the mix to try and go for it.
Yeah, did you feel like with those expectations that you had for yourself or the standards you had for yourself, do you feel like this past Saturday was a win, or did it leave you, they say second craves the win more than anyone else because they can
Right.
taste it, do you
Yeah.
feel that side?
Yeah, the second place effect certainly hit hard after the race. I was like, 4.15 seconds away. Like the title was right there. But at the end of the day, I mentioned it in some of my interviews. It's perspective is important. I can be as mad at myself as I want that I missed the break when Habtum hit the gas, but at, he's not a bad guy to lose to necessarily. I mean, the guy got second place 2 years in a row, so he knows what an NCAA cross country race is like. He knows what it's like when the move is made because Graham Blanks hit him with two very hard moves 2 years in a row and got the best of him in those races. So he knew going in what he had to do to win. And going into the race, I figured that I would be reactive, and once Brian and Habton made their move was going to be when I went, and I just was not ready when it did happen. I didn't expect it would be as early as it was, and that was on me. So I can be mad at myself for that, but on the flip side, I can also be extremely grateful for being healthy and be extremely proud of, you know, putting together a full cross season and being able to run the way I did at the championship meet, because I'm harping on it, but last year with the heat stroke I was 100th, and this year I was second, and it just being able to run at that meet is such a privilege and a blessing, and I was very grateful to do that and very proud of the progression I had made, and also just to be at the front of the race the whole time and to put myself in that mix and establish that and give myself a shot in the first place, right? It wasn't I didn't want to sit back and be passive about it. And that's kind of the mentality I had when I was racing in Los Angeles this summer, because I was trying to get the world standard for the 5K, and I ultimately came up short in that as well. But I had that same aggressiveness at the beginning. I was like, no, like I'm going to go for it no matter what if I fall short. So I can be proud of the way I race, and I can be proud of the work I've put in. But certainly there is still that side of me, the competitor, that's like, man, like I was right there, you know? But hey, I mean, we still have a year of eligibility left, so plenty of time.
Keeps you hungry, man. You mentioned
Yeah.
that race in LA, Sound Running Sunset Tour, July 12th, 2025. You ran 13:07.77. That was a school record. That's moving, man. And I feel like even going back to our senior year in high school, if I was to sit down with you and be like, you're going to be a 13:07 guy not too long from now, I think you would have been pretty impressed with those numbers. How much do you feel like that result set your expectations and your standards for this upcoming cross season of like, oh wow, I knew I was good at the sport, but like 13:07 is world class. That's like you get a
Right.
contract level. And I think I could be wrong here, but I think you were second overall
Yes.
at that meet. So it's like you're racing pros and you're placing second. Maybe second's your favorite. We gotta change that to first year soon.
Yeah,
But
we gotta
anyways,
change that.
how did that race you feel like shift the expectations for cross?
I mean, it was instrumental. Going into that race, like I said, the goal was to get the world standard to try and qualify and, well, to create a path to the world championships. And so we were looking for races that had a pace through 750 through 3K, a shot at sub 13. And ultimately we decided on LA being that race, and going into the race it was like kind of a boom or bust, and we still planned on doing USA championships after that to try and get to worlds. But after the race, when I ran 13:07, we figured, okay, like you don't have the world standard, you've already had such a great track season, you've really proved yourself, let's just take some time down now and build you up for cross, because what you just did is a pretty big deal. And kind of during the race, like I told you, the mentality going in was I'm here for a reason. I'm here to try and chase this world championship standard. I'm not going to back off the pace. I'm not going to be afraid of it. I'm here at this track and pretty much just ready to spill my guts out if I'm going to get that sub 13 mark and race the guys around me, especially in a pro field, because I've only really raced, I don't know, a handful of pro races. I think I raced Milrose in high school, the B mile, the B heat mile, but I haven't run like a big 5K like that before in a pro race. So straight from the gun, I went right behind the pacer, and I thought it would be the type of race where I wouldn't have to lead and I wouldn't have to do any work, because I figured, okay, there's a bunch of pros in here. We've got Luis Grijalva, Justin Knight, some big names. Now, granted, they were coming back from injury, so I do not blame them at all for their performances, and obviously they came along later during the year with their fitness because they were, again, coming back from injury, so that was kind of their season opener in a way. But anyways, I figured going into the race that I wouldn't have to do much work, and then I found myself in a position where, oh, the pacer steps off the track and I'm the guy in the lead. So I was like, well, got to keep going, right? So I just kept pushing and trying to hang on to the pace, and even though I came up short and kind of bonked towards the end, I was still extremely proud of the way I fought and put myself in it and didn't settle. I was like, no, I'm still going to go for this thing regardless of the circumstances. So that, for me, going into that race with that mentality and putting myself out there, that was what like made me, going into this cross season, know that I can do anything I put my mind to. And so going into this cross season, when I ran that first race, the instructions pre-race were we thought that Gary would race. It was going to be me and Gary and George Cootie. It was a handful of schools. It's a small meet, the Panorama Farms Invitational. And we found out Gary wasn't racing before, so coach was like, okay, you can kind of go out a little bit chill and then maybe crank it down. And to be honest, I didn't really follow that. I went out kind of screaming from the gun and didn't look back. And I think that me doing that was kind of a reflection of like what I did in LA. It was like, no, like I'm here to go all out and to give my best today. And me doing that gave me the confidence to make a big move at ACCs and come away with the win there. So it's kind of a long-winded response, but I hope it all made sense. Essentially,
Absolutely, man.
Me putting myself out there in LA was instrumental and contributed to the mentality of me doing the same things in cross country.
Absolutely. No, great perspective there. Something I want to hear your opinions on is the shifting landscape of the NCAA. As much as we want to dodge it, it does exist, and I think it's worth bringing up. Five Americans in the top 30. As literal or as much as you want to speak about, what's your thought on how international heavy the NCAA has become, and with that, it is true how much harder it has become to win races, be All-American at races, and
Right.
just your general thoughts on the NCAA as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, the NCAA it's fantastic, right? I mean, we got a massive collection of talent from all over the world, and I think the original purpose and draw of the NCAA was to give American student athletes a chance to not only obtain a great education, but also to compete at a very high level against other very high level competition. I mean, the NCAA, you look at it for track and field and cross country, it's like, I mean, with all the international competition, it's almost as deep as a world championship meet, right? It's pretty crazy. And I welcome it. I really love having internationals, and because it's just more competition, it makes everyone better. But there is definitely a tipping point, right? I've heard murmurs of, we've seen it. I mean, even beyond murmurs, we've seen schools just opt to recruit exclusively Kenyan athletes now, guys that are coming in already running 13:20 or faster, and maybe they're, I don't know, 25 years old. And I think that it's tough because people are playing within the rules, right? But we have to ask ourselves, what is the original goal of the NCAA, right? The original goal is to provide students with a chance to compete at a very high level and obtain a good education. So I feel like as long as we're not straying away from that, I welcome all the competition and I welcome internationals. But if it gets to the point where these, I guess think about it this way. The American school system has you graduate high school at 18 years old, and then you come into college. So you're an 18-year-old most of the time. And then you come into college as a freshman, you run a cross-country meet, and you find yourself running against a bunch of 25-year-olds who are 7 years ahead in aerobic development, right? It's not the most fair thing. And it's certainly a flawed system, and I don't really have an answer as to how it could be fixed. But for me, from my perspective, having internationals is great. I love the competition, but I believe it shouldn't reach the tipping point where it comes at the expense of the goals of the NCAA and all the things it provides to not only domestic talent but international talent as well. So it certainly shouldn't reach that point where everybody in the NCAA is just guys who are immediately coming in running 13:20, right? Because then development is out the window. Our sport is experiencing a very unique problem from football and basketball with the transfer portal and guys leaving for money. Our problem is that we have guys who schools are going out and recruiting runners that are immediately ready to step on the line and to run really fast. And so development across the NCAA is kind of vanishing, and I feel like that was one of the reasons for its inception, was to develop student athletes, develop their character, and to develop them as people. So I don't have an exact answer to that. I hope that what I've said is enough to give you a general sense of my opinion, but I think that as a Cliff Notes summary, I love the competition, give me more, but it shouldn't come at the expense of what the original goals of the NCAA are.
I love it. I think it's super well said. I think it's such a tough and super nuanced issue.
Right.
And I think the NCAA as a whole is just like failing every sport. Like you talk to the football community. I listen to Joel Klatt. He's one of the analysts for all of Fox's big college games. Like he'll call Ohio State, Michigan. He has a podcast and he's constantly calling out the NCAA for like their transfer portal window and the NIL stuff and so it's like football has their issues. But I think the problem is it's the same with football, the same with running. Coaches are going to act in line with the incentives given from the NCAA and from their schools.
Right.
Coaches are rewarded for winning. If winning is all that matters, right, which is kind of what it's becoming who can win and not a developmental system. Exactly. If winning's what matters, coaches will do everything it takes to win, including, it makes sense, international countries have very, very good talent. So they're going to go get those athletes and try to win championships. And so I don't want to demonize coaches who are recruiting all the time from international countries, because it makes sense why they would in their shoes. They'll get fired if they aren't performing well, and they'll get bonuses and good looks, and their legacy and career will look better if they have championships. But I do believe that staying true to the premise of, like you said, and I like you saying this, like, what is the purpose of the NCAA? It's a developmental, it should be what AA is to the MLB. It shouldn't be the MLB 2.0. And I think we made it, the NCAA, as you said, is becoming just as competitive as the World Championships or USAs. I know people who place worse at NCAAs than they do USAs. That happens almost every year. And so I think that we need to, wonder, like, the NCAA, again, cancel me for saying this, the audience. You can't, you won't, I don't care. I feel like I can say this. It's an American system. And so it should primarily be Americans with exceptions. And I think we've strived, and that should be the ideal. I will debate anyone all day. That should be the ideal. And I think we are straying away too much from the ideal, that we've forgotten the ideal. And I think if we have one off year where 25 of the top 30 are internationals, that's fine. But if it's that every single year, we've lost the NCAA. And let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is like the roster cuts and the scholarship spots. For 10 milers from the very country that the NCAA exists in literally won't be able to run at the next level. That seems really messed up. And we're going to lose. I think we're going to lose the sport at high school level too if we keep going down this path, because what's the motivation for kids? Kids are so motivated by running at the next level. And I get why. That was me. You're not going to have that motivation if you know you have to run. If you know you're competing against a 23-year-old who's run 59 minutes in the half marathon, that's the most crushing defeat. Yeah.
Yeah, it's what's the word for it? It's the I don't know the most like nah, dang it, I've lost it. Anyway, it's not very motivating, like you said, to see a guy who runs 59 minutes in the half marathon that's 25 years old, and you're a 17-year-old kid trying to get recruited. You're like, well, how am I going to compete?
Totally, man. And for so many kids, yes, we provide a better way of life for international students, but I mean, so many kids get to go to colleges and get it paid for who can't afford those with their legs, with their running.
Exactly.
So many kids who get into higher ed, like Ivy Leagues or Stanford, do so not because of their ACT, SAT, but because of their running. And then that transforms their life because they have a Stanford degree. And
Yeah.
so I'm fearful if we keep going down this path of the impacts, not just at the NCAA level, but also at the high school level, because I think it'll affect kids' motivation. And I also think that, it's just I want to preserve the NCAA for what it is, for what it's meant to be. And I feel like across all sports, we are making them professional sports. That it cannot be about that. It can't be about the money. It can't be about the championships. It has to be about what it is, which is why you guys are called student athletes. It's about the school
Yes.
first. You are a part of Wake Forest and you happen to run for one of what could be considered their clubs. You happen to be
Right.
really good at it. But at the
Yeah.
end of the day, you're going to get a degree from Wake Forest. And if the institution didn't exist, your running wouldn't exist.
hmm No, what you said at the end there, I think perfectly encapsulates it. It's like we shouldn't try and turn the NCAA into a pro league. As much as we want to be competitive and as much as we want to win, at the end of the day, these are like priceless opportunities for kids that otherwise couldn't pay for school, like you mentioned. So for them to be able to go to college and to get at least part of it paid for because they run a certain time, that's life changing to them. They can get a degree and they're set up for life. So we should not, like you said, the NCAA should not be a pro league. We need to remember what the goals are. It is the stepping stone to going pro, but it's not being pro in that sense.
We talked about that race in July, how it kind of upped your expectations for what's possible. How do you feel like this race, second in the country in cross, and just a really successful cross country season overall, ACC individual champion, regional champion, how do you feel like that's upping your expectations going into indoor and outdoor track?
In a similar way to how the July race did, it's definitely up in the ante, and I'm very confident with where I'm at, and I'm very much looking forward to what I can do. When I made the decision after the July race to end my season and not run USA's, I spoke to I spoke to my representative at On because I sought his opinion and I really trust him. And one of the things he mentioned to me that I hadn't considered was kind of in line with like you've had a great track season. Let's see what you can do in cross. But he mentioned, I would love to see what you can do coming uber confident off a cross country season and going into track season. And that for me was like, oh, okay, wow. I think that would be really big for me as well. And now that I've had a successful cross country season, I mean, I'm still extending my cross season by running USA's and trying to go for worlds and things like that. But anyway, it still makes me uber confident regardless because, like I said, the NCAA has gotten to the point where it's as deep or deeper than a world championship meet. And to perform like I did just is a springboard going into USA Cross and will be a springboard when I hit track season as well.
So no BU,
No
just
BU.
cross.
No
Okay,
BU. We're
changing the
doing
script this year.
cross.
Is
Yeah, I
that
didn't.
what seems to be happening with a lot of people, or maybe this is my chance to poke fun at how international the NCAA has gotten because it's U.S. Cross. 25 of them
Yeah.
don't have that race lined up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I haven't talked to many other American collegians to see what they're doing. To my understanding, I think I didn't speak to Gary about it or to Colin. I didn't ask what they were doing, but I talked to Brian and Habton just to see like, are you going to BU? Are you going to be doing Worlds? And both of them are doing BU. But for me, when I saw that, well, first of all, home turf Worlds, and second of all, like all the big names are doing it. It's not It's not going to be a type thing where it's like, okay, you made a Worlds team, but like, how good was it? Like, it's
So
going to be a good
stacked.
Worlds team. It's
Yeah.
stacked. Like, I mean, Connor Mance is going for it. Nico Young, Graham Blanks. I'm pretty sure the Nike guys and Flag are doing it.
Yeah.
Like, it's legit guys. So I'm excited. I'm really pumped for it. And no BU. If you'd asked me at the beginning of the year, like, well, it was kind of a joke I made with some of my teammates and my coaches. I was like, yeah, I mean, past 2 years of my career, I've never been able to run a regional championship in cross, and I've never been able to run BU in December. So that's my goal, is to run those 2 meets. And so I did one of them, and I'm exchanging the other one for USA Cross, which I'll take any day of the week. But if you had asked me before the season began that I would willingly try and run one more 10K, possibly even another 10K in January, I would have called you a liar. So I'm very pleasantly surprised and happy that I'm eager to keep running cross and to try and go after this world's team.
How much would it mean to make the world's team, specifically with how stacked it is? And I don't know if you saw this, but to ease your worries a little bit, one less guy to worry about. Connor pulled out yesterday due to injury.
Oh, he did. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I didn't know.
Yeah. Good news for you.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, any opportunity to represent the country is a big deal, right? And I think that, especially since it's, like I said, a home turf worlds, we haven't had USA Cross, or we haven't had a world championship hosted in the U.S. for 30 years, I believe. I believe the last one was in Boston. So it's a big deal. And if I made it, then family members could come watch and things like that. And also it would just be really special to experience that and to see what type of support there would be and to experience cross country, because also world championship cross is different than like what we do. Like there's like water barriers and log jumps and hay bales and all that fun stuff where there's obstacles, right? So I want to experience something like that. And also, like you said, it's a very competitive meet. It's not like it's not one of those things where it's like, okay, you made an easy world championship team. It's a legit competition, and also legit competition nationally, but also internationally. Like the top end of world championships is super, super competitive for cross country. So it would mean a lot to me, and I'm very grateful that this opportunity is presenting itself, and I just need to go get the job done in however many days that is.
When is it?
It's
Do you know?
December 6th, same day as BU. So that would be
Oh, so it's coming up here.
11 days. 11 days, yeah.
Yeah. How do you train for that? I'm assuming
10 days.
Yeah,
Sorry.
keep the training low, not too many high workouts. I'm sure your body's a little beat up. What's the kind of like reset? Okay, we're onto the country, not just NCAA's. What does the next 10 days look like?
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much you can do after running 2 10Ks in 8 days, right? So what we're doing is just maintaining, taking it easy, doing a couple workouts. I did a long run yesterday, which I never like. Normally it's Sunday long run, but since the race was Saturday, it was okay. Recover Sunday, just get mileage Monday, and then we'll long run Tuesday is kind of your workout. So just basically doing what we need to do to maintain. We don't need to launch any fireworks over these next 10 days. There's not a whole lot we'll gain. We just need to stay healthy and remind my body of its rhythms and routines so that I'll be ready to go on next Saturday.
Only a junior. What do you feel like the limit is for the rest of your career? Sky's the limit?
Yeah, I mean, that's how you got to approach it, right? You can't limit yourself too much, because I feel like if you do that, you're setting yourself up for less than you could be, right? So I'm just really excited for what's ahead, because like I said, I could be mad all I want about getting second and missing the break against Habtum, but once, like, after the dust settled after the race, I was like, I still have a year. There's still going to be many great battles ahead between me, myself, and all the other guys who are up front. And I mean, we'll have indoor season, outdoor season, next cross season, and etc. So still plenty of opportunity ahead, and it's only going to get more competitive. And I think it's even cooler that myself, Brian, and Habtum are all the same year as well. So we'll still be very competitive up front for the next year, and I think it'll be some pretty fun stuff.
If you do make the World Cross team, what's the plan with indoors? Will you get a break at all at any point? Or I mean, I know we're getting ahead of ourselves here, but how would that shake up a cross season extended even further with the indoor season?
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, so it would be fortunate to make the team, but that would come at the expense of the indoor season. I believe that if I did do anything indoors, maybe I would do like a mile just to have fun, or like maybe run a DMR leg or something. But I think that for the most part, we would kind of punt indoors and just focus on outdoors because number one, I need to give my body the time to recuperate. And I mean, it's not a bad thing to punt indoors necessarily. Indoors is super fun. It's one of my favorite seasons because I just love the vibes going to Boston and ripping it at BU. It's really fun. But at the end of the day, we focus more on outdoor track, and that's where our goals are. And especially considering that maybe this summer I'll be trying to race deeper into the summer like I did this summer with the July race, and possibly even further later July or August. It's important that I get some rest under my legs and hit it hard outdoor season instead of indoor season, right? So it's to be seen, but if I do make the team, then indoor season will likely take a back burner, and we'll just start training for outdoors.
Final serious question for you, man. I know there are a lot of long-term fans of yours just because of how good you were in high school. I feel like specifically, you're from North Carolina, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of North Carolina fans, and you go to a school based out of there. So I feel like you have a lot of fans listening who last Saturday was validation for them. They were excited for you.
Yeah.
What words do you have for the next generation listening, people who one day want to be ripping it up with the best of the best in the NCAA but aren't quite there yet?
Yeah, well, first of all, I appreciate the fandom, the few of you that are out there. I really did appreciate all the love and support. I got a lot of messages over the past couple days. It's kind of been a whirlwind since Saturday, so I just want to thank you all first, because I mean it's cool. It's cool to feel the love, especially from people like in North Carolina. They're like, "Hey, man, I've been following you since high school," and it's really special to hear stuff like that. And just to those people, or to anybody that's out there trying to compete at the top level and to keep tearing it up, just, I mean, there's so many things I could tell you, so much advice I could give you. It's hard for me to boil it down to one point, but I think that if I were to sum it up in a phrase, just do your best every day and do everything in your power. Because for me, what gives me the confidence to perform the way I do and to go about my daily life and routines is if I approach the day with, all right, I'm going to do my best today and give all I have, and do everything in my power, that will give me the opportunity and chance to accomplish my goals. And that means it kind of encapsulates taking care of all the little things and getting my sleep and taking care of business and school, things like that. If I do my best in all realms of my life, all domains in my life that I invest energy in, then I know that I'll be prepared when the day comes to do something like perform, to run a race, or to have an exam, or whatever it is. So just keep doing your best every day, set high goals for yourself, and it'll require hard decisions along the way, some sacrifices. Maybe sometimes there will be days where, I don't know, you guys, like, you want to go out for a late night with friends, and you just got to be like, I'm sorry, like, I've got to go to bed, get some sleep for an important workout tomorrow. And those decisions don't feel good and easy to make, and ultimately they pay off in the long run. So don't let anyone discourage you from your goals. Surround yourself with the right people, and do your best every day.
Amazing words to close us out. Final question for you. You're my final episode of the week. Thanksgiving tomorrow, big American holiday. Yeah, I love Thanksgiving. Always fun. What are the family Hansen traditions, and what are the things you're looking forward to Thanksgiving edition this year?
Yeah, so we've always got the turkey. We've got some cranberry stuffing for sure, some cream corn. That's my favorite dish probably. Creamy mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, and of course some rolls. Can't go wrong there. And probably an apple pie.
Dude, I'm hungry now.
Most looking forward. Yeah. We'll eat around like 4 p.m., 5 p.m. if I had to guess, like a early dinner type thing. So I got a taper for that. Get my appetite ready.
I love it, man. Rocky, always appreciate you giving me the time. And yeah, it's been so fun knowing you over the past years and seeing your success. You deserve it all. I know you work so hard and put your soul into the sport. So congrats on Saturday. And I know it's just a glimpse of everything to come.
Thank you so much, Dom. Really means a lot. Appreciate you having me on.